Welcome to one more video on C programming language. In this video session, let's learn how to develop a C program to print the table of a given number. The user will enter one number through keyboard and we have to write a C program in such a way that the output of program will print table of that number. Now let us say that user has entered one number, say 5. Now what is the table of 5? We obtain the table of 5 by multiplying 5 from the numbers 1 to 10 one by one, and after each multiplication we get a result. Say 5 multiplied by 1 will give you 5 as an answer. When 5 is multiplied by 2, 10 will be the answer. Same is the case with remaining numbers. Now this will help us to develop a logic to write the program. If you closely observe the table, we will come to know that the number is constant in every expression. So user has entered this number, say 5, and it will be stored in a variable, say num. So one variable will be there which is of integer type, and we will name it as num. The second thing you will come to know that variable, that is the num, is multiplied one by one from numbers 1 to 10. Means we have to repeat the activity of multiplication 10 times. That's why there will be a use of loop. So where do we use loop? We use the loop when we want to repeat a particular activity n number of times. Here n is 10 and that activity is to be repeated one by one. So what is the starting value? Starting value is 1. What is the ending value? Ending value is 10. And what is the difference between two steps? 1. Because when we multiply by 1, in next step we multiply by 2. In next step we multiply the number by 3. Likewise. So in simple words, I can say that this loop counter will take the values from I is equal to 1, because 1 is the starting value, up to I is equal to 10, because 10 is the last value, and each iteration it will go to the next value by increment it by 1. So after each execution of loop, the next value will be I plus plus. After each multiplication we will get one result. So a third variable will be required which will hold the result. So this will clear that this program will require three different variables. Which are those variables? First will be num, which will hold the value of a number which is entered by the user. Second will be the loop counter I, which will take the values from 1 to 10. And third variable will be the result. Result will hold the result of multiplication after each iteration. So let us straight away move to the dev C++ environment where the program will be developed. As usual, include the header file stdio.h. The next step is to write the main function. The body of main is written in curly braces. Now as discussed earlier, we require three variables of integer type. So declare those variables. First variable is num, which will hold the number entered by the user. Second will be the I, which will be used by the for loop as a loop counter, and third variable will be the result, which will hold the result of multiplication after each iteration. We have to take the number from the user. That's why a prompt message is necessary for the user to enter the number. So please enter the number. This message will be displayed to the user so that he will come to know that a number is to be entered. Now as number is to be taken from user, we require scanf function. Number is of type integer, so format specifier use is %d, and the variable name for that number is num. But we know that scanf is used to accept the number from the keyboard and it is to be stored in memory. So we have to prefix the variable name with ampersand. So instead of writing num, I will write and num. So once user enters the number, that number will get stored in a memory, or it will get stored in a memory whose name is num. As the number is taken from the user, what is the next thing that I have to do? I have to write a loop. Now there are different types of loop like while loop, do while loop and for loop. In this case, for loop will be suitable because we know how many times the loop is to be executed, we know the starting value and we know the ending value. The variable or the loop counter is I. So initialize it with the first value. From here we want to start. We want to start by multiplying the number with 1. So the initialization is I is equal to 1. What is the last condition? Up to what point you want to repeat the activity? I want to repeat the activity till I becomes less than or equal to 10. And for next iteration, what will the value of I? I will be incremented by 1. That's why I have written here I plus plus. Inside the body of for loop, what is to be done? If you remember the truth, this table, multiplication activity is to be performed. Multiplication activity is to be performed. What is to be multiplied with what number? A number entered by the user, that is num, is to be multiplied by different number from 1 to 10. And we have just seen that we have named them as I. So num into I is to be performed. And where result is to be stored? Result is to be stored in result variable. So result is equal to the number entered by the user multiplied by the loop variable. So in first iteration, what will happen? The value of I is equal to 1. It will check whether I is less than equal to 10. Is 1 less than equal to 10? Yes, it is less than. As condition is true, it will enter inside the loop and it will calculate the expression num into I. Say user has entered the number 5. So it will be 5 into value of I is 1. 5 into 1. And where the result will be stored? It will be stored in a variable whose name is result. Now I want to bring that result, or I want to print that result on output screen. So here I will write printf in double inverted comma backslash n %d. Why %d? Because result is of data type integer. And now write down the name of variable. Name of variable is result. So 5 into 1, that is 5 will be printed. When it comes across the closing bracket of for, it will go here once again and it will increment the value of I. I was 1, now it has become 2. Then it will check the condition. Is 2 less than equal to 10? Yes, it is less than 10. So it will, as condition is true, it will enter the loop and it will calculate this expression for second time. The num is 5. Now value of I is 2. So 5 into 2, that is 10. So result is 10 and that result is printed on screen. So in this way, this whole process will be executed for 10 times. And once the value of I is 10, it will be executed for 10 times and then I will try to become 11. Now is 11 less than or equal to 10? No. So as this condition has become false, it will come out of the loop. And this is where we have to stop. Now let us save the program and let us compile and check for any errors. So there are no errors in the program. So we can proceed for execution. To execute, press run. Please enter the number. Say I will enter the number 5. And you will find that the table of 5 is displayed immediately. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So table of 5 is displayed. For simplicity, you may add the statement like printf the table of %d is. And what is %d? It is the number entered by the user. What is the number entered by the user? It has the name num. Let us save it and let us run it. Compile it first. As there are no errors, we'll run it. Now here I will enter one number, say 8. The table of 8 is 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72 and 80. In this way, we can develop a C program to find a table of the number entered by the user.